a farm to a residential area, like building blocks of flats?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, with a farm, I don't know how big is it. How big is it, Suspin?
You know, it can be a, let's say it's a 2-hectare farm.
Okay. All right, Suspin. Are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay. With the process rezoning a farm, actually, I think I would say, okay, it goes from municipality to municipality on what they say on their policies. But with most municipalities, what they say that if you want to develop a farm, you have to do a township establishment process. That's a different process from a rezoning process. A township establishment process, that's where now it's regarded as if you're doing a new township because it's still a farm. Number one, you have to apply to the Department of Agriculture according to Act 70 of 1970. Act 70 of 1970 is an application which you submit to the Department of Agriculture to say, hey, Department of Agriculture, I have this farm, I want to subdivide it. Can you please give me permission to do so? Because every agricultural land or farm in this country is regulated by that act, which is Act 70, because Act 70 of 1970 protects the subdivision of agricultural farm for food security reasons. That's why it's being enforced, or that's why we've been forced to do that application, especially if you're a private developer. But if you're a municipality, you want to do a new housing development, then you are exempted from that application, but it's always good to do it just to get the views or the comments from the department. But as a private owner, you are obliged to do that application, which is Act 70 of 1970. And thereafter, you do a township establishment process, whereby you submit an application to the municipality, and that application, town planning application, must have specialist studies. What do I mean by specialist studies? I mean, you must hire an engineer to do a bulk service report. A bulk service report that will look at the services that are around your property, where that property, does it have electricity, does it have roads, does it have water, does it have and other services. Basically to check how far or what proximity or what can it cost the municipality to serve that farm, that property. You must have a land surveyor. To do a subdivision, to land survey your site. You must have a geotechnician, a specialist to check the stability of the land, measure what structure are permissible on that land. You must have an architect. If that farm is close to the river, you must do a flight line study, which is done by an engineer. You must have TIA, traffic impact assessment, another study, check the accessibility and what traffic can that development bring on the surrounding road. So there's a lot of specialist studies you have to do to develop a farm. So that's why you have to do the whole process of township establishment instead of rezoning. So you don't rezone farm, you don't rezone a farm, especially for residential, you do a township establishment process. I hope I've answered you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Just to add on Tindi's question, if you're buying a plot that is obviously it used to be farmland, like for instance in Midrand, I'm not sure the areas of I think President Park and those areas that side, where it's mainly plots that most of them were zoned agricultural land, but people now have built their own houses, do you still need to go through the same process if it's just a plot that is, let's just assume for argument's sake that everyone else around you has already rezoned or has already went through the process of zoning the agricultural land into a residential land? Do you still need to go through the same process?
It depends, Mhlekazi. For example, I'll use the City of Joburg. City of Joburg, they said if you want to develop a farm for residential, then you must do a township establishment. So if you are going to develop a farm, the same farm, but for industrial purposes, then you must just rezone it. But if you are going to do it for residential purposes and it's still a farm, you must do a township establishment. So those properties that are in Midrand, those developers that are developing there, they are doing township establishment processes. They've submitted these specialist studies I've mentioned, the layouts, the land survey certificates, the land claims confirmation letters, the TIAs, the geotech. They've done all those studies. You have to do it because it seems because the municipality seems as if you're starting a new development and they have to check the land, whether is it suitable. The land can it be brought to a state of originality of being a farm? You know, with the farmland, there's a lot of they want to check the stability of the land, so you can't put residential areas there because they're going to be at risk. That's why you have to do a lot of this assessment to check whether now, if you are transforming or converting this land to residential, is it going to be suitable for residential purposes? That's why you have to do all these special studies. So those developments, flats that are happening in Midrand, most of them is township establishment processes.
Yeah, it's another thing. We really need to have a heart-to-heart with government, heart-to-heart talk with government, because if they want Black people to get into land and own their land and empower themselves, you cannot expect us to go through these costs. I'm saying this because from your answer, it then says it's very important for all of us to acquire as much information as possible, because you do get these plots that are sold around and you see great opportunities in them, but it seems now they come at a very high cost for you to do whatever that you would have wanted to do. And I always, my philosophy is that I would not take a project that is going to cost me more money to get to the same result as another project, because the return on investment then becomes very low. So when you guys buy these farms, then you must be careful. When you buy agricultural land, you must be careful and know that you are going to have to incur lots of costs to get to where you are. But as I always say, never confuse the price of the spade with the value of gold. If you believe that although it might cost you so much to get the property to where you want it to be, but after it's there, it will give you lots of money, then go for it, of course. But always make sure that you do the numbers before you can take on those projects, because then they will become they become very expensive. But I'm also just thinking now, whether are there enough studies that the municipalities do for specific land? Like, don't they have reports where they know that land in Midrand is suitable for residential? When I'm saying Midrand, I'm just, of course, for ease of speaking, but the particular areas, they are suitable for residential building. Don't they have those kinds of reports? Why do they want us to do those reports? Because, for instance, when people evade land, they are quick to say, but that land is dolomite land and it's got sinkholes. It's not suitable for a human occupation or for residential occupation. But now if you want to buy land, then you must go through all this process. Don't they have their own reports where they know that this particular land is suitable for this and that land is suitable for that and the other one is suitable for that?
They do have it in Mhlekazi. They do have that information, but remember that information that they have is only desktop information. So they can only analyze it from their GIS, from what maybe has been recommended by the specialist studies. But now when you go as a developer, you have a site and they want that study. Now they're being specific. And if they want a geotech, they want a geotech study that is specific to your site, which is detailed in a sense that a TLB has come to your site and dug maybe 8 holes and then took those lens and samples to the lab, to geosciences, and then they're going to get accurate results. So they want accurate information. They do have it, the municipality, on their records, but that's only a desktop information. They use it for desktop information, which gives them a sort of advice where development must go, what must happen, where and how. But that's why they always want the developer to do a specialist study, because they want detailed results and site specific. And you are right, because township establishment is very expensive. Developing a farm is very expensive. So it's not the same as the rezoning. You find out the rezoning might charge you 60,000, 70,000, but with township establishment, imagine hiring all these specialist studies and you have a huge site, maybe of agricultural land. You might end up spending over 600,000 to $1 million.
Okay, Mhlekazi, thanks. Yeah, I hope these are the conversations that we'll have when we do get, one day when we get government people to come up here, because, for instance, in my example that I was putting is that when I was saying, if you are already surrounded by people that have built residential, why must you still go through the process of establishing a township instead of just saying no, according to the people that the people that are here around you, everything is fine? Because I'm just thinking now, when you're establishing a township, you don't dig everywhere to determine the type of soil that's there and everything that's there. And if it's just a 1 hectare, why would be I don't see why would the land be such different within a very short space. It can happen, of course, because situations and the environment underground is different. But generally speaking, it should not be happening. If the area where I am, if the land where I am is suitable for a specific development, the land, if the land around where I am is suitable for a specific development, even where I am, it should be suitable. It's not necessary for us to be incurring all this costs. Of course, I'm talking from an investor perspective, and I also want us to start thinking about this, having this conversation when whoever is in government start asking these questions for people that are the municipalities, to say, but why are you guys having such strict and ridiculous requirements for us to go through? But let's see what Mpho has to say. Mpho?
Thank you so much. That's a very interesting conversation around farms. I know the areas that you're referring to, President Park, Glen Austin, and so on.